Well, that was one of the most embarrassing performances that I have ever seen since I've been covering Major League Soccer, especially when the team that was playing had such high expectations, hopes to possibly reach the final and collapse in absolute disastrous fashion. And so we're going to talk about this. LAFC lost to Toluca tonight 4-0 and lost on aggregate 5-2 in one of the worst performances I've seen since, like I said, I've been covering this. So let's get down to it and sadly talk about what we saw tonight in this absolute beating. I knew that when I saw this starting 11 where they were playing three in the back and then the two wing backs in Forsberg and Palencia, this was going to be trouble for LAFC, guys. It was going to be trouble. They had Schaffelberg playing left wing back, Palencia playing right wing back. They had three center backs. Tillman was playing on the right wing, which makes no sense, or the left wing, whatever, which one it is. Estacio was on the bench. David Martinez was on the bench. I knew it was going to be trouble. I knew it was going to be trouble the entire. It was going to start something very bad for this team. It was going to be it was going to be hard for them to win this way because they were going to play defensively and they were going to try to hold on to this 2-1 lead. Okay, so in the first half, Toluca was just dominating in possession, dominating in shots. They had 18 shots in the first half, 7 on target, 71% in possession, right? But there's one thing that I'm going to think about this entire game. I'm going to think about this for years to come. You guys are going to think about this for years to come. I'm going to think about that opportunity early in the game where Denis Bouanga had a clear chance. He shot the ball. It deflected off the goalkeeper. Tillman had a rebound with an open net, and sailed it over the crossbar. He missed an absolute golden opportunity to put LAFC in prime position to win this series. If he had scored that goal, they would have been up 1-0, and they would have been up 3-1 on aggregate with an away goal that canceled Toluca. So that meant Toluca would have had to score 2 goals just to tie it up if they'd scored. And he missed. He missed in one of the most worst fashions, one of the worst whiffs I've ever seen since I've been watching football. One of the worst I've ever seen. And his passes were errant. He fell down. He made bad play after bad play. He was the worst player in the first half by far for LAFC. There's not even a close second. Timothy Tillman was the worst player on the pitch in the first half for either side. For either side. Hugo Lloris is the reason why LAFC didn't concede any goals in the first half. Hugo Lloris had an incredible. He had 7 saves in the first half. The back line looked shaky, but Hugo Lloris kept him in it. He had some key saves. Schwanier was getting dominated. Delgado was getting dominated. Schaffelberg was horrible. He had a horrible cross, too. Horrible cross he sailed out of bounds. Could have led to an opportunity. Horrible. Denis Bouanga's touches were too hard. Son Heung-min really wasn't able to get into the game because the midfield was just so bad. It was just so bad. It was horrible. It was horrible. They made the attack essentially ineffective and useless because they didn't have any play in the midfield at all. It's been the story all season long. It's how it's been all year long. Midfield's been terrible. Tactics have been terrible. Adjustments have been terrible. Coaching has been terrible. So, Toluca knocking on the door the entire first half. 18 shots in the first half, guys. 18 shots. 7 shots on target. 71% possession. LAFC's playing bad. Still ends 0-0 at the halftime, right? I was talking to my friend Nick. I said, what substitutions does LAFC need to make in order to make a comeback? Okay. What do they need to do? What do they need to win this game and make sure they advance? They need to make a couple substitutions. They needed to bring in Estacio, David Martinez. They needed to make these subs. They bring on one substitution at half, and it's Ryan Hollingshead. He comes on for Schaffelberg. Schaffelberg was bad. That's not the most pressing need, but, okay. So in the second half, they bring out Schaffelberg. They bring in Hollingshead, and he gives up a penalty in the 49th minute. Now, I think it was a soft penalty. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you it wasn't. The reffing was very, very bad in this game. I forgot to mention this in the first half. 3 or 4 players got shoved down. Sonny, Denis, I think, got shoved down. I think Tillman got shoved down. No calls by the refs. Just no calls. I mean, full shove in the back, falling down their face. No calls. Okay. This guy trips over his own feet close to Hollingshead, and there's a penalty called. Didn't even look at it on the VAR. Didn't even bother to look at it. And so Toluca, they get awarded a penalty, and they score in the 49th minute to go up 1-0. This is where things start to get bad for LAFC. So now LAFC have to score a goal to win. They have to score a goal. In the 58th minute, Lopez scored an absolute beauty to the right side. Lloris had no chance of saving it. None. To go up 2-0. No chance. And when I saw that, I knew it was over. It was over. And that my prediction for this game was 2-0. But when I saw that goal, I knew it was over because LAFC had no heart tonight. They didn't show up tonight. They didn't show up tonight. The guys must have been in LA because they did not show up tonight. They didn't show up tonight. So they're down 2-0. And it seems like it's over because LAFC have to score a goal now to tie it up. But they have had no serious threat in the attack. In the second half, they had one shot in the entire second half. One shot in the entire second half. Hey, everyone, quick word from our sponsor, FanDuel. If you're into soccer like I am, you already know how exciting La Liga, the Premier League, and MLS matches can get. With FanDuel, you can make it even more fun by placing bets on your favorite teams and matches across all 3 leagues. Whether it's a Premier League showdown, a La Liga thriller, or an MLS game with your local club, FanDuel makes it easy and exciting to bet on what you watch. Just remember, you have to be 21 years or older to play. Please bet responsibly and only if you're of legal age and in a state where it's allowed. Download the FanDuel app or head over to FanDuel.com, sign up, and get in on the action. Thanks for supporting the channel through FanDuel. Toluca had 13, 8 on target, 3.19 expected goal rate to LAFC's 0.38. Because like I have said, if you've been following this channel for all season long, I have said numerous times that LAFC's attack is broken. And I have been proven right on that time after time. They do not score goals because they have no midfield. They have no one who can create chances. They have no one who can set their players up. They don't have the perfect link between the backline and the attack. They don't have it. Okay? They don't have it. They haven't had it all season long. They only had one shot in the second half, and it's a continuation of poor attacking for LAFC. The attackers can only do so much. They have to have someone that can feed them the ball, and they don't have it. They don't have it. They don't have it. Okay? So, LAFC is trying to find a goal. They look tired. The elevation is like 9,000 feet above sea level. It is a horrible place to play as far as that for people who are not used to that. I understand, but they looked fatigued, right? So, Dolo, or not Dolo, I'm having some flashbacks. Maybe Dolo, Dolo's not looking as bad as MDS, but we'll see. MDS makes a couple substitutions. He gets Tillman out. He gets Chouanier out. He gets Aaron Long out. He substitutes a bunch of dudes, right? Too little, too late. David Martinez came on the pitch. He looked like one of the best players automatically. Toluca was struggling with him. He had 2 guys on him at one time. He was making the opposing team struggle, and he didn't start. He's been one of their best players all year and did not get the start for LAFC, and arguably their biggest game of the year. No, is their biggest game of the year. Okay, it is their biggest game of the year. So the wheels fell off. Paulinho scores in the 92nd minute or second minute of added time, and he scores in the 4th minute of added time and puts the dagger in, and LAFC lose 4-0 to Toluca in embarrassing fashion. Now, listen, some people will say that I'm being too harsh and that teams lose. And that's true. But good teams don't lose in this fashion, guys. They just don't. Good teams don't lose 4-0. Good teams don't lose 5-2 on aggregate. This team has a lot of issues. This team's not going to win any trophies the way they're constructed. They have a mediocre coach. They have a mediocre midfield. And they have a mediocre depth on this team. I said at the beginning of this offseason that they needed to have a good offseason and add some quality players if they wanted to win any trophies, and they didn't do it. They just essentially ran back the same team. They added Stockio. He's been hurt. He's not been worth what they signed him for. He is obviously their best midfield player, but he's still not been good enough or healthy enough. Boudry's a question mark. They should have kept Morin if they were. I mean, Boudry has been MIA. He's on a milk carton. No one knows where he's at. Okay, so many disappointing things for this team. And we're seeing their bad offseason come back to haunt them in this tournament. And now, because of this, MLS will now not have a team in the Concacaf Champions Cup for the first time in 5 years. That's just sad. And that's where we're at. So I'm curious what you guys think. How disappointed were you in this game? A lot of bad play, a lot of question marks. LAFC were riding high, and they just... That's what happened. That's what's been happening in the last couple games for LAFC. Not looked as good as they have. Not that they've looked good at all year long. Their defense has been good, but their attack has been broken. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious what you guys think about this game. Who do you think is most to blame for this loss? Let me know down below. And how embarrassed are you guys? I feel pretty embarrassed. If you enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you all soon.